America's schools are selling the idea that socialism leads to utopia, while capitalism creates economic misery. A lot of students are buying into this. Fox Business's David Asman here with his final piece on the failures of socialism.
Yeah, well, the question is whether bad education is going to lead young voters to make bad economic decisions. Watch.
The 20th century was the best of times and the worst of times. On the dark side, as many as 270 million citizens were estimated to have been killed by governments that described themselves as socialists, on the left and the right. On the bright side of the 20th century was the success of free market capitalism, which helped lift well over 1 billion people out of poverty. So why do so many scholars condemn capitalism and lean into socialism? Even the brilliant free market economist Tom Sowell started out as a Marxist. So what changed his mind?
Facts. Before I was a Marxist, I was an empiricist, and I stayed an empiricist. And with the passing years, as I looked into more and more things, I saw the difference between reality and the rhetoric. Unfortunately, so many people today, including in the leading universities, don't pay much attention to evidence.
A recent survey shows a large number of college students prefer socialism to capitalism, with almost half praising oppressive countries such as Cuba over the U.S. Our own Brian Brenberg saw it firsthand as an economics professor.
Why does socialism still have the pull for so many college students?
College is a place where it's one of the only places where bad ideas can keep living because they never get tested against reality. So professors, they study these things. They love the ideas of what socialism promises. They never have to do them in real life. They spend their academic career filling kids' heads with these ideas, kids who got to go out in the real world.
6 years ago, I asked Tom Sowell if we'll have to suffer through socialist policies before rejecting it.
I do have a great fear that in the long run, we may not make it.
Now, Cheryl, Professor Sowell is brilliant, but I'm hoping that in this case, he's wrong. By the way, there's so many wonderful learning tools that could be used in schools to teach people about the difference between capitalism and socialism. One is just a picture of the Korean Peninsula. I think we can put that up on air. On the lower right, that is South Korea. You can't see what's to the north of it because that's North Korea. Socialism is dark and capitalism is bright. That's the kind of learning tool that could be used in schools, but isn't.
That's a very good visual illustration of the difference between those two countries. David, it's been a great series. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
David Asman. A quick programming note, don't miss David's special Socialism Threat and the Future of Capitalism, airing right here on Fox Business, Wednesday, November 5th, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Don't miss it. You know, it's interesting, Ashley, because of what's happening with the school system. And we know that we've been seeing it at the college level. But it goes beyond that.
Well, and it's happening a lot especially in cities like in D.C., for example, of just this the ideological references that are pushed on our kids in so many different ways. So not just in socialism. So we have in Washington, we have schools that will not allow the football teams to bring out the American flag when they run out on the field because it's too political to do that. So we have private schools in Washington, D.C. that are saying you can't love your country.
That's amazing. Real quick, Mark.
Well, I mean, kids are now taught to blame the system rather than understand it. And that's problematic because, you know, the requirements are, 4 years of English, 3 years of math, 3 years of science in high school. We need to have a requirement that there's economics and civics that are being taught so people are educated as they become adults.
Well, it's really been a fascinating look at how socialism fails us. And in New York City, we might be about to find out how it's really going to fail.